Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever time of day you're viewing this. Welcome to today's episode of R.A.H Podcast. I am your host, Rahsaan, Corbin II. And like always, we're always here with more episodes, more knowledge to drop, more wisdom to share with those who are viewing. Today's guest is someone that I'm meeting for the first time, actually. So, fun fact, meeting him for the first time virtually. We've only messaged each other through GroupMe and email, trying to get this scheduled. But Nicolas Pollard, how are you doing today?
I'm awesome. I'm awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to get started. When I heard about the opportunity, when I asked, I was just very excited. I just know you do a lot of good work. I looked at a lot of the videos that were already given, and I really think that we can continue to drop those gems and really continue to push the message forward.
Very well spoken and great way to start it. But we're gonna take a step back on a funnier note. We're gonna do a little icebreaker.
Okay.
So what we got here, I've been doing more of this or that. I'm gonna run through about a few questions, and I'm gonna preface this. I purposely don't put the
Okay.
icebreaker on the questions just to have you think on the spot. So just for the viewers out there who may be a future guest, be warned, you will not get the icebreaker
Okay.
question. So we're gonna do this real quick, do about five of these. So this or that, playlist or podcast.
Music?
So it can be playlists like music or like let's say you're on the road. You want to listen to playlist or
Oh,
podcasts.
playlist. Have to.
Playlists.
And my R&B. Example. Sorry.
It's gonna be controversial. iOS or Android.
iOS. I have literally every Mac product, or have or will.
Yeah, I was gonna say I say it's controversial because it always sparks a debate. I'm like, our phone's better, our phone's better. But we're gonna get that another day. Fiction or nonfiction for film, TV shows,
Nonfiction.
books, nonfiction.
Yep.
I think that was that three questions. I'm just scrolling through this list right now. Um, extra sleep or little sleep?
Oh, extra.
Extra sleep.
For sure.
Ice cream or cake?
Cake.
All
Yep.
right, we're gonna do one more. One more. All right, we'll do a follow up with that one. Specifically, what kind?
I like, and I know it's kind of some people might not agree. Any type of cake that has lemon flavored in it,
Mm.
it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And don't let it near me. That's all I say. Don't let it near me, and don't let me know about it. Yes,
It's gonna be.
lemon cake, whether that is an actual birthday cake, whether it's the lemon pound cake, the slows, anything with lemon in it, that's for me. Yep.
So yeah, usually hear chocolate, vanilla,
Nope.
strawberry, red velvet. So I had to make sure that was out there. Give a broader perspective.
I'm sure
So we're
I'm
gonna
the
do one more. So sorry,
only
what you say? My fault.
I said I'm sure I'm the only one that said lemon. But I forgot for the people that that might not be have the same taste. So yep.
All
Mhm.
right, one more. I did five. We're gonna do one more just cause. So spring or fall? 'Cause spring is right
Oh,
around the corner.
mm-mm.
Fall.
Mm-mm. Yep.
Are you
I'm
are you born in the fall?
yes.
Okay, that's why.
I,
Because I like the spring and I'm born in the spring, so that makes sense. That makes sense why you like it.
Yep.
Okay, cool, cool. Well, thank you for participating on Icebreaker. That's like the
Yeah.
Icebreaker segment, and now back to our regular scheduled program. So, like I
Okay.
said, this is my first time meeting you. This might be the people's first time meeting you as well. Can you give us a little background about yourself? Where are you from? Where do you attend school? Your classification, and what are you studying? We'll start there.
Sure. So hello everyone. I am from Richmond, Virginia. My name is Nicolas Pollard. I currently attend the illustrious Virginia State University, studying mechanical engineering and information technology and logistics. I am also a senior, and I chose to come to Virginia State because I feel this is definitely one of the many HBCUs that have fostered the future of engineering excellence and success, but also this is somewhere that I know I could develop as a leader from the ground up and continue to just expand upon my skill sets and my interest as a young professional.
That's what's up.
My involvement on campus is very well profound. I know for me, my first leadership position on campus I ever had was being a residence assistant or RA. Still am. I've been an RA since I've been a freshman and transfer freshman. So that's given me a lot of really good experience on working not only in large groups, but small groups and incidental issues. How do you work through different problems and just being able to think on the fly, being a really good proactive reactor. So it's kind of just like knowing how you react in those situations with their circumstances and constraints, but understanding what might be the best path forward. Additionally, I do have various other leadership positions on campus. My involvement stems from our College of Engineering Technology Engineering Leadership Council, or ELC. We also have, of course, our NSBE organizations, which I'll get into a little bit more. And we have a breadth of other opportunities that I've taken up as far as an SI Pass ambassador, so a supplementary instruction peer assisted study sessions for membership, as well as just working with our ACE or Academic Center of Excellence on campus to help support the academic involvement and development of our Trojans at Virginia State University.
Cool. Nice little background about yourself. So we're going to talk about your leadership journey experience first before we dive into NSBE because we're both heavily involved in NSBE. And you're
Yes.
rocking both pins. You're rocking two pins.
Oh, so okay, I'm
Usually I
glad.
rock one.
That's what I put
Usually I
on.
rock one. That's cool though.
Uh,
That's cool. So for your leadership journey, were you always involved in the community, like a community service level, in high school, middle school, and whatnot, or did this start when you got to college?
I have been involved in community programs since I was literally from the earliest I can remember 5. I was involved in those things because my father, he's very community oriented. He always brings me to the activities. Me being the youngest, I didn't really know people. Older siblings were kind of gone, so I was just sitting in the house just when my dad saw, he was just like, no, you need to get out of the house and come. So when I went with him, I got to know the people he knew, and just by association, it's very welcoming when you're around people that share the same passion for people. That
Cool.
passion for people is something that's been with me since a very young age, and throughout elementary, throughout middle and high. I've been involved in leadership because I was involved in a community first, right? So when you're being a leader, it's really about you being involved with people and in community. So me being introduced to it at such a young age, it is just the longevity of it. 15 years now. I've been doing so actively, right? And being able to, well, as far as I can remember, 15 years I can remember. The other 5, that's when I was a little kid, so I didn't remember. But yes, that's just being in that environment is enough to make you understand the importance of leadership, the importance of being in community, and it follows you. So it's followed me all the way now into my senior year of college. And it didn't start here, but I know it won't stop going forward. I know I'll always be involved in leadership. It's always going to be something for me that hits close to home and that reminds me of the people that believed in me at a young age.
That's amazing. That's amazing. One thing you didn't touch on, you were a White House ambassador, or are you still a White House ambassador for Strategic Initiative for HBCUs, or is this past? So you still are?
Yes, I was just waiting to get to that question. I wasn't.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was trying to figure out how to transition into it because I probably should have worded it better on here. But can you talk about your experience with that?
Sure.
Let me repeat that. A White House ambassador for strategic initiative on HBCUs. Well, I'm an HBCU graduate. You're an upcoming HBCU graduate. Can you expand on that experience a little more? Because I feel like obviously, all the time it's important to support our HBCUs, but especially times like this where some programs getting defunded. Some schools are getting defunded because if they don't, erase their DEI initiatives, they will, not cease to exist, but go on that decline. So can you expand on that experience you have and how that helped you with your development?
Sure. I actually started the White House Ambassador Program in September. I was first introduced to this opportunity by Mr. Gerald Bennett, who was also in the HUD affinity group, as well as the founder of the Strategic innovation network for the strategic innovation on HBCUs. And that network is a conglomerate of other small businesses, companies, and representatives and or community leaders that are coming together to help support HBCUs with the federal initiative from the president. I was actually inducted into that program under the Biden-Harris administration, and although it does, it's still in line with the President Trump's current executive orders for HBCUs for that specific initiative. I know some MSI ones have been impacted, but from what we've been told and what I understand, that initiative is still ongoing. So until I've heard anything from my end, I do believe that this is still going strong as HBCUs do have the most highest graduated rates for the workforce as well as going into some major industries. So keeping that strategic initiative on HBCUs will be beneficial and has proven to be beneficial for years, regardless of any administration that's been put in place. And my specific role in that was not only to help get this strategic initiative for a boots on the ground program started at Virginia State University, but to expand this to other HBCUs that also have any different organizations that are well aligned and tied into the strategic federal initiative for the executive cabinets, as well as working alongside professional student organizations such as NSBE and a plethora of others to be able to expand on that mission.
Okay, so this goes beyond just HBCUs, also other grassroots organizations, so you
Yes,
help them out as well? Okay.
absolutely.
Follow-up question to that. How was your networking with the other HBCU students, and like how big is the cohort?
So networking has been at an all-time high. This past September in 2024, I was able to attend the HBCU week, which was actually the last HBCU week from the Biden-Harris administration that not only brought students from a NASA cohort together, but from different universities and professors, deans, you name it, they were there. Even our very own President Makola Abdullah was there from Virginia State University. So we actually have a really good picture. I can send that to you if you want to use it. But yes, it brought a lot of people together only because we knew what was to come, right? What was to come from beyond the administration on how we can still continue to support all of our programs that are in existence. And even though there have been some political changes that has been going on, I do strongly believe, based on that strategic initiative, the support for it is still unwavering. So this doesn't look to be going anywhere anytime soon. From my best knowledge, I do want to make sure that this isn't being quoted from anyone, but we do have a very strong backing for this program. However, things are on still on hold because of just the political atmosphere that is still going on. We still had to just wait and see. There's a lot of still trial work and what we're doing. This recently just started for Virginia State University, and we've been able to elevate that program through the HBCU week, through a lot of our national celebrations that we've done for STEM Day, and what we're continuing to do this upcoming semester for our STEAM Day campus tour for over 150 PCI and collegiate students to attend and really get to know the land of Troy.
That's amazing. That's really amazing, and I'm happy I have you on. We have a lot to discuss. Mainly
Okay.
when it comes, I'm on the NSBE side mainly, but I'm still involved in the alumni association for FAMU. But that's still amazing. You're doing groundwork while you're still a student, because I think that's where it always starts, and building that foundation. So when you graduate, you're passing the torch on and whatnot. But we'll talk about passing the torch later on. But like overall, how did you learn to balance everything with leadership from personal life, school life, leadership involvement, just all the above? How do you balance it all? Did it progress over the years?
I think it is for sure a strong understanding of my capacity to lead. I do understand some people say it might be a time factor, it could be, availability, it could be I want to do a million and one things, but being a logistics major has actually helped me be able to time manage at the most effective rate and efficiency I've ever time managed in my entire life. I've only been alive for 23 short years, but I do understand that time management is a key factor in anything that you do. And as far as me wanting to be more integrated not only into campus life, but into different federal initiatives as well as just local regional and national leadership, I do have to understand that there is a little thing called prioritizing. There's a little thing called responsibility and accountability. So I have to hold myself accountable for the responsibilities that I am wanting to pursue and integrate into my time and schedule. So balancing that with my personal life, that I do like to go out and enjoy myself, go to movies, go to spa treatments, things of that nature, as well as school life with me being a double major and mechanical engineering, information technology, and logistics, and just the plethora of leadership position I have. It's important for me to understand that time is the essence. Time is of the essence. So being able to understand how to time management, using a lot of BI or business intelligence tools to help me balance my responsibilities, learning how to time manage, learning what's needed, what can wait, those things, those are what help me make those decisions. And I really like using BI tools because it's a way for me not only to build my experience with using certain skills and software capabilities, but also learning the methodology behind them and how I can have that multi-integrated into my everyday to day life.
It's amazing. I probably should have put this on there, but like, what keeps you going? Like, what's your drive? You talked about the community service side, but like, what keeps you going? Because hearing double majors is pretty rare. Well, rare to me. I don't really know too many double majors outside of the STEM field. But like, what's your drive? What's your ambition? And this will kind of like tie into the next topic. But like, what keeps you going every day? And were you always like this?
I'll answer the second question first because I
Hmm.
want to kind of like in sequential order.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
But what keeps I haven't always been like that. I haven't. I think my drive, what really started was I was always very well motivated going into middle school, into high school, but I really was demotivated and lost a lot of my sense of purpose when COVID hit. I definitely felt as though, you know, my trajectory for how I wanted things to go kind of went to a hard stop. And I know it's not just for me, it had happened for quite a lot of few people. But yeah, I was very much kind of distraught and I didn't know what direction I wanted to go. And COVID, I really took that time to really just do some deep thinking onto myself because COVID was the year I graduated, so in 2020. And I wanted to know, where is my life going to go beyond this, right? I had my life, what I wanted to do in my life, all planned out to middle school. I had a little notebook, still have it. But when COVID hit, I kind of had to X some things out and move some things around. But I had my life planned out of what I wanted it to be, and it just came to a hard stop. So I didn't get into the school I originally wanted to. I didn't get the opportunities I wanted, obviously, just because of the restrictions of the coronavirus. However, I took COVID as a second chance to re-envision my life for what I wanted it to be, how I wanted to refine it from my original plan. And I had to learn too that all things, even though I have a plan, all things won't go to plan. So I had to learn to be flexible and in a volatile situation and environment where I could still succeed. So being able to succeed in the chaos and being able to make those intelligent and educated decisions helped me get to where I am now and re-envisioning my life, my engagement, and where I will be from my collegiate years and beyond. And everything that I've planned for since then has been going according to plan with some minor variances, but I do all in all feel that I'm still on the right track. I'm still where I want to be and even excelling in that field. And as far as my leadership, I've been involved in leadership, as I shared, since I was around 5 years old. I remember the first time was at Dory Park. My dad used to take us there all the time, still does. So I've been in there, I've been involved in leadership in unofficial and official capacities for my 23 years. So yeah, I'm very excited just to continue doing that. And yeah, just making this more of a experience for just myself. That's what keeps me going. My motivation is all about the experience that we can bring for each other. I've always been one to say, if I'm going to do something, I want to make it a unique experience for everyone involved. It's not just about me. I understand that this is a very selfless mindset, but it also gives me a sense of purpose when I'm doing anything. because if I feel if I'm doing it just for myself, I might not be as motivated, because I understand that if it's just for me, it won't get any bigger than just that. It can get larger than just you if you make it about more than yourself.
Very well spoken. I want to touch on 2020. So I graduated 2019. I was in community college, my first year of college. Um, that COVID hit was definitely a hard time when it
Yeah.
came to reevaluating what I wanted to do in life because it definitely took me off my path. I had a lot of stuff planned, but then boom, everything shut down, school's virtual, restrictions and all over the place. So definitely reevaluating yourself. And then once you got to school in person, or once I got to school in person, that helped me kind of build my purpose back up. So I wanted to respond to that real quick. And it's a perfect transition because when I transferred to FAMU 2021, spring 2021, I just took the leap of faith and jumped on NSBE board as the programs chair. Wasn't the best first position for the first time like ever, especially just joining a chapter. But I went from it helped me. It definitely built that foundation. So saying all that to say, what was your journey like through NSBE leading up to your presidency?
Mm. How much time can I allow for that?
Hey,
Because
hey, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. I had okay, so quick backstory. I had former national chairperson Avery Lane on here.
yes, I saw. Yes.
Yeah, a few months ago. So he shared his story, and it was an amazing story. I think he spent like good 10 minutes on it. So if you want to spend, you know what I'm saying? I don't really have a time restriction, but
Okay.
if you want to share your story as in depth and detailed as possible, I think it would be great, especially for someone listening. And I like storytelling and learning about everybody's experience, how they got to where they're at today. So the floor is
Okay.
yours.
All right. Let me sit up.
Go ahead, get comfortable.
So my journey started in 2022 when I was a freshman on campus. So when I first joined, I heard about the NSB organization. However, I didn't see a lot of it. The visibility wasn't there, but I heard about it. So it was kind of like this mystic like group you didn't really see, but you heard about them, but you always heard about kind of the president. And I understand that that was very, sometimes that can be very formal and what people are doing, and kind of the overall presentation. We had a very strong president, Joy Watson. If you are looking for anyone from VSU to be on that this podcast or any other in the future, she for sure is one of a really good recommendee of mine and mentor. Additionally, when I started, it was very much very kind of mystic. I had to look around and find, but when I actually went to go see some meetings, it wasn't as grandeur as I thought it was, right? I heard a lot about Nesby and I heard a lot about our chapter. It just was not what I expected. And I think because I had such high expectations, it didn't meet my purview of what I wanted to see. And I understood that. And I understood that not only was this going to be a learning experience, but this was going to be a wake up call onto what would forecome. So I'm kind of telling the story in two different tenses. I hope y'all like that. But yes, yes. So from there, I actually met my first mentor. His name was Davion Tyler, and I was very much just welcomed in by him. Very funny, very smart, very supportive. The one thing I can always say, he's always helped me through some of the hardest classes that we've taken. And without him, I don't feel as though I would have been as confident to move forward in this degree without him. So, shout out to him for that as well. But things took a little turn when I finally decided to join the executive team. So this is where it started to get a little juicy. So, so yes, I will be name dropping because why. Um, so it gets to the point where I want to join, right? So I've been told, like, from a very freshman age, I'm a non-traditional student. So that also means that at I came into college 20. So the COVID years during my community school, I'm sorry, community college times is when I was kind of doing classes. A lot of my classes didn't transfer over, so I did have to redo some classes at the university. But I already had my previous leadership experience, being as that I've had it for quite some time, and I was just a natural fit into the board. However, there was a lot of the best way I can call it is there was a lot of, it was very cliquish. And when I think of a national organization and when I see what's promoted on the website versus what I see in person, it I was in disarray. I didn't understand what I was looking at. I didn't know what was going on, who to talk to. And I found out a lot of people that were a part of that organization were dissatisfied, dissatisfied, but they knew the opportunities that NSBE could provide. So they stayed and endured while they could and as long as they needed to. So as I was going, through, I started to notice these things. My first leadership position was actually a senator. And I actually get to that too, because a lot of senators in our chapter historically have became president. So very, very, very exciting. And it's only natural. Senators know the ins and outs of the bylaws and they know how the organization should run. So that would be the natural position that can easily transition into a presidency role. So from the senator role, I started noticing there were just things in the organization that just weren't by the book. It just wasn't by the book at all. And, at the time we did have a president. Her name was Kaylin Hay. And I would say, stellar young woman. And she was very, very well astute, but her leadership was very questionable, as there was a lot of circumstances where there was blackmailing. There were a lot of just foul play going on in the organization, and you could hear it from everyone that was a part of this entity. And we were at an all-time low when a lot of our leaders were dropping off, and people didn't really want to participate and engage. So it was quite literally watching the organization fall apart. And through the senator position, I wanted to instill some type of, not hope, but some type of proactivity to keep members engaged and showing up to activities, wanting to plan events. All of those things helped accumulate into a more engaged organization, but the damage was done. And eventually it came to a climax where there was a discussion amongst how things was running the organization. As senator, I did take it upon myself to, speak up for not only the issues I've seen, but that the membership has been complaining about. And that meeting with our president, our former president, eventually led to my suspension as an organization leader, and I was completely taken off the executive team. So from there, it was kind of like a maybe 5 minutes later, it was like messages going out like crazy about what was going on. Bad news travels faster than the speed of light. So it's kind of like um it travels fast. So I was kind of in this limbo state with the organization. A lot of people knew what I was attempting to do and using my voice and the senator powers to help to support the organization. However, our former president just did not see the we couldn't see eye to eye, and it didn't work for advocating for the organization. This eventually led to more turmoil and tension, as members of the board were very frustrated with me being the only, at the time, freshman on the executive board, that they were pretty much essentially boycotting until I came back into the executive team. But I understood that I wanted to allow a just and due process when the time comes, and that's when elections came around. Unfortunately, this is where the story took another shift, because I unfortunately got sick when it was time for the election. So I didn't run for any leadership position. However, we were keeping track on all of the new leaders, and this was the all-time low. We had less than 5 people that wanted to run for a leadership position in the entire organization, and the organization was down to about 3 members.
Mm.
So it was very, very rough time for the organization. And at that time, I focused on myself and what I wanted to do, how I could be better as a leader. That was my first time really having a controversial moment on campus, my freshman year, with a very, well-renowned organization. Previously, it's won multiple awards, but during that specific administration, it was at its all-time low. I can say for sure. And, you know, when I heard about the election and no one wanted to run for presidency, the organization was almost ceased to exist on campus. So I just knew at that moment when it was that bad, something had to change. So even though an election was made with no president, I essentially just said, they were looking for presidents, and I just said, I'll do it. Simple. I'll do it. And I've never seen quite the reaction from people. As soon as I made that announcement, it was like, we have this thing called group me. I know a lot of people use it, but once I made that announcement, it was just people were like sending heart emojis and eyes and claps and all of those things. And it was very unofficial. Very, very much so. No election took place. I said I will do it. And that started a string of momentum that really helped turn the organization around. And in 1 week, we were able to turn around the organization from 3 members to 115. We were also able to get some sponsorship from companies, and we hosted the largest virtual election on campus with over 500 people from different organizations voting on who should be in leadership. I was very well entwined with people in the college, so I understood that this was an opportunity to bring people into the org that could really make a difference. And we had a really strong run to begin with, and we've just been building momentum ever since. So from humble beginnings as a senator to being essentially exile from the organization to coming in an unofficial role as president to lead us to where we are now, where we're multi-nominated for national awards. We've hosted the CEO of NSBE. We've got over $10,000 in sponsorships. We've advocated for 51 students to attend. We've brokered around $40,000 in total for the convention. So it's kind of like it's been a ride, a very much joyride, and ups and downs, but right now we're really just enjoying everything that has been coming our way and continuing to build a community for people to stay.
Man, it's crazy. Remember how I said Avery took about 10 minutes? You took about 10 minutes. So, you're in line
I'm
just
on the timer. I'm
yeah,
on
I was looking at the time on the side on my iPad where the questions are. So that's an amazing story, and I feel like that's really important to share because some people think oh, not many people that I know, but I know I've seen like stuff online. People are like, man, it's so easy, getting the leadership, being president, you get the call the shots, you get to do this and that. I'm like, I'm a former chapter vice president and president, so I know the struggle of getting everybody organized, getting stuff together. Because we were in a rebuild year. I was a part of the rebuild years, so I think that's an amazing story to share. Um,
Thank you.
so and shoot, I feel like this is a hard transition. Well, it's a good transition, but it's a hard transition. Now, I know for sure I was meant to interview you on this, and we get along very well. So, with that being said, like I said, I'm a former chapter president for Family FSU NSBE. Shout out to them if they're watching. What were your goals? What were goals leading into your term as president? You
Mm,
touched on it a little bit, how you wanted to turn stuff around, but were there any was there like a vision that you
yeah,
saw for the organization?
I wanted the vision I have for the organization was to have this be the top STEM organization on campus, the best academic organization on campus, and one of the best all-around organizations to join, regardless of your major. So, what did that mean? As far as being a STEM organization, you could every time you come to an event, you learn something, whether that is in a passive or active capacity. As far as being the best academic orgs, we do have a plethora of them on campus. However, we take our academics very seriously in and outside of the classroom. So that not only means that we want people to succeed and, really help build up those tools for success in the classroom, but also outside. Learning doesn't just take place in, a cubicle or in a classroom. Learning takes place outside in the world, experiencing new things. So that's what I also wanted to introduce, having more um, excursions for the organization, developing new collaborations that could take us beyond the campus, and as well as just being the best, one of the best all around orgs. We offer quite a lot of engagement for students on campus, what not just academically but professionally, in leadership and technical development as well as social activities. So we've collaborated with the D9, we've collaborated with performing arts organizations, we've collaborated with other academic orgs, STEM organizations. We work within different colleges. We host quite a lot of Region 2 activities. We most notably the Region 2 Fall Ozones for the past 2 years, and we're just continuing to add on to the resume for the organization and being a well-rounded entity that can help support you wherever you are in your personal journeys. And this is kind of like an area where you can always come to grow and learn, regardless if you're an engineer or STEM major. So, well, I'll say engineer because all of us are STEM majors, regardless of what the title says. STEM is everything. STEM is what we are. So having that inclusivity and that affinity for the organization was crucial to ensuring that we had a longevity and legacy plan put in place for our chapter and for the school, because we currently work alongside our dean as well as our provost and president of the university on their different initiatives, and it's worked wonders for the organization.
That's amazing. You're an amazing testament of the mission statement for NSBE. Increase the
Thank
number. I'm not going to have a stand up and whatnot, but increase the number of culturally responsible Black engineers who excel academically, succeed professionally, positively impact the community. It's been a while since I said it, but I still got it. Still got it in my back pocket. I'm still good at it. With that being said, how's your leadership style evolved throughout the course of your presidency?
I would say I've started off as a visionary leader, really just pushing forward new visions for the organization, and that's important to ensure that people have alignment in the organization. It's important for people's experiences to align with their opinions and their visions. So as we're making strategic plans for the org, there are multiple people that share a common goal. Additionally, it transitioned into a more transformational leadership style. So once we've been able to set forth our vision for the org, it became more of creating the leaders for the next leadership. It became, how do we now mentor all of our leaders, current leaders, to enable them to enable more leadership? We recruit we recruit for leaders at the freshman level and up, as well as members. So we never have I've never put a restriction on when you can become a leader, because there's no time or classification that can bound you to the impact you can make in a community. So me being a freshman leader in the organization, I understood that better than quite a few other people. And with having that opportunity, I knew that starting off as a freshman, it's important for you to get experience early, not only just in leadership, but in your classroom and in any technical application you're interested in, to keep you motivated, to keep you inspired, and most importantly, to keep you in a community that wants to help support you every step of the way. And
Amazing.
now it's now transitional. I am in my last term as president. It has been a joy. I'm very excited to share in this final convention and planning. So just enjoying this experience with our organizational members is really going to be the topping experience for me. So that's how it's transitioned. It's been a very educational journey for me. A lot of experiences, and we're only getting better.
Okay, I want to dive more into your leadership style for working with the executive more specifically. You sound like you have like a very family oriented style for the organization. Is it the same way with your executive board? Like
Yes.
you can be a little more in depth. Well, I'm gonna take a step back. I know you can be a little more in depth with the family style because family's a little tough on each other, especially when you're not on our P's and Q's. But is it like that with your executive board?
Very much so. I like to think that we're very well intertwined. I know two of my best friends, but also our strongest leaders, Michael Archibong and Toriel Coleman, have been pillars for the organization since 2023, summer of 2023. So this is going to be this is actually the longest term for an administration for any chapter of in the history of VSU NSBE. And summer 2025 will mark the end of that administration. However, we are very excited to not only transition this administration to the next leaders, but to continue to develop the relationship that we have in the executive team that is very family friendly. We are always open, communication is always open. Everyone has my contact. I have theirs, so we can call each other anytime we want. We can share our opinions. We help each other with classes. We're in quite a few classes together anyway, so why not, right? So it's kind of like it's very family friendly. We're very well in tune as an organization and just as people. So it helps us have a more dynamic relationship, and we just are able to understand and learn from each other much better.
Amazing. And I want to kind of dive more into that. Were there any conflicts, and how did you handle the conflicts within the leadership team of the executive board?
I will actually say we we very rarely have any conflicts because there's a level of trust and interdependence that we all feel that is mutual and doesn't really come to any critical disagreements or conflicts. However, one of our major conflicts that we did have in the administration was in our early stages. So one of my when I did opt in to become president and sign all the actual paperwork, there was a one of my vice presidents, we did not see eye to eye. So this was in a very early administration. And that administration, we didn't feel see eye to eye due to just some more visionary insights from the organization. That conflict was handled due to an agreement to disagree. And we had to understand that the vision that we had just were just not in alignment with how the organization is ran via bylaws and organizational infrastructure, and how personally we wanted to see things sprout from this new seed that we've planted. So it was handled with us being able to understand and agree that our visions might not have been in the same alignment, but we still had the same goal with the organization. And he has helped us on several occasions, more or less as a supportive figure and mentor for members in the organization, not directly aligned with us, but has been able to help advance a lot of our strategic academic initiatives and integrating them into our membership activity. So it was just coming to a mutual understanding and understanding that we may disagree, we will disagree, but we still have a common goal. And that's how we've been able to work together from years now.
That's amazing. I keep getting inspired, and I feel like I want to go in a time machine now to go improve on my presidency during the time I was in school. But I know I left my impact, but now it's the next person's impact. So speaking of that, where'd the question go? Oh, what is the lasting impact you hope your presidency will have on future leaders of your chapter?
I would say for sure the lasting impact I hope to leave would be believing in each other. There's a lot of STEM majors, and this is just the truth. This is my truth for observation. Stick to themselves if they already don't have their own kind of people. If you've already found your people and you have your niche, there wouldn't be too much reason for you to, maybe join this organization or be a part of that community. So sometimes people can be isolated. Sometimes people can feel isolated. And when you don't have a common ground, when you don't have a common area where people can come together, regardless of their backgrounds, there becomes a rift in the student affinity within the college. So what I hope to leave is the sense of responsibility and accountability for believing in each other. We're all here to get a degree or more, and then some. So we all have a responsibility to pass courses, to show up to classes, to do all the things necessary to become a graduate student and beyond. However, we have to do it together. We do it together. We're not in class by ourselves. There's never been a one person class. So it isn't just for you to graduate, it's for everyone to graduate. So that sense of community and companionship and camaraderie within the organization is what I most want to see continue, because it's important for us to understand that we are the difference in the world and the difference for the future. And if we can't make the difference together, the difference will only be waiting for the next group of people that make the decision to stick together.
Once again, keep making me motivated to go back in time machine right now. But anyway, speaking of lasting impact, no, we emailed, well, talked briefly about some accomplishments and milestones your chapter has hit. I already know. First off, it's already an amazing accomplishment and milestone when you went from 3 people to about 150, and then so on and so forth. But during your term as president, or terms as you say, what were some of the biggest accomplishments or milestones that you achieved as a chapter?
I would definitely say the one that's brought us the most visibility from the regional and national level is hosting the CEO of NSBE. So Janine Uzel was at Virginia State University. We hosted an entire day just for her on a radio show. We did a tour of the campus. We brought her to Jones Dining Hall in celebration of Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and we even had that event live streamed on with on our chapter and our Instagram for members that wanted to attend, and on Google Meet so people could come and attend. We also had a virtual engagement with the founders of NSBE. So we had the NSBE founders and the CEO at one event in one day. So that was very impressive as far as us being able to, expand and utilize that network, and understanding that from a regional and national level brought visibility to the organization to where now we're awarded for quite a few awards. We've won quite a few awards, and we're nominated for quite a few at conventions. So here's to making sure that we're continuing that level of effort and engagement, and to winning some more awards and just representing our region, our chapter, and all of the great work that we do. Additionally, during FRC this past year, we did win 4 awards, first place for the conventions. So for FRC, so we're very excited about that. And we will be going to nationals to compete in 5 competitions and looking to bring home similar results. So just being able to engage with NSBE on a collegiate, regional, and national level at the highest level we can is, I would say, our greatest achievement as an organization. I've always wanted our organization to elevate all members within it. So it's never just about me. I want to make sure the organization is receiving these recognitions, receiving these opportunities, because this is what this is for. This isn't a personal platform for me to build up my career. This is a platform where everyone can develop their young career, their young professional career, through networking, through engagement, and through taking advantage of conventions. And our most notable achievement would be that now we have officially advocated for 51 collegiate students, the most students that's ever been to a convention in our college, to attend the national convention next week.
That's amazing. And I'm extremely excited. By the way, this is at the time of the recording. We're talking about the NSBE conference for the viewer listening, so you don't think we're in a time machine right now. So I was gonna, so that actually is perfect for the following question. Like, what are you looking forward to the most about convention in NSBE? We're celebrating 50 years. It's 51st convention for NSBE. I've always seen it as a family reunion style. I'm
Yes.
seeing my friends from other chapters, from and within my region, from other regions, even people I grew up with, because I moved around the country a few times. You know what I'm saying? It's good, little reunion, and then making more friends at these
Yeah.
events. So, like, what are you looking forward to?
I would say the opportunity to just meet people that want to make change in this world, with the climate that we're currently in, and just education, and our new administrations and more. It isn't just education or executive orders that are impacting us. It's still the level of engagement that we, as an organization, professional student organization, need to have in communities to help inspire generations to continue to move along with this mission, not only of NSBE, but the mission of Black excellence, and continuing the legacy project that is NSBE. So I'm looking forward to meeting a breadth of people from our reconvening with our founders, obviously with our CEO, national executive board, regional, region 2 collegiate chapters, region 1 one through six, everyone. I'm looking forward to meet everyone and being able to just, continue to build on our current momentum, because what we're doing, what we've been doing since the foundation of NSBE, since it's been established, is continuing the Black excellence for years to come. And Miss Uzell said it the best. And I usually call it Janine because we're on a first name basis now. So yeah,
That's funny.
yep. But yes, Black excellence engineered. We are a force to be reckoned with, and I know for sure when we're coming to convention, our organization is going to be well noticed and acclaimed. But it's more or less about our impact on how it aligns with the national, regional, and collegiate missions to continue to advocate in the communities, helping to excel in and outside the classroom, and building that network for the future.
Very well spoken, and it's kind of crazy. So people in my chapter, I didn't meet Miss Uzel for the first time until last year at convention. However, the current president and vice president of my home chapter, Family FSU, got to meet her in Kansas City, which I'm like, that's crazy. I didn't get to meet her yet, and I was vice president at the time. I'm like, that's cool. It's cool. But anyway, so we're talking about, closing out your term as president. We're talking about, NSBE convention next year. We're talking about, networking and staying connected with people. But how do you plan on staying involved with NSBE at the either in your local chapter? How do you plan to support your home chapter via at VSU? Like, where do you see yourself being involved at?
Well, we do have an alumni chapter for the organization, so I do plan on joining that. I do plan on joining the pre-alumni association, and I'm looking into some more regional positions for a very brief time, like maybe like a week. I was interim Region 2 vice chair, so I will count that as region.
Regional experience.
I will count it as that. So I'm looking into more, especially when I graduate, into more professional chapters and how I can continue. I want to become a lifetime member at actually convention. So that's actually my plan. I look to become a lifetime member. So that is also another inspirational figure on how others can continue to make that commitment to NSBE early, or whenever they found it, to continue that mission, so everyone is aware of how you can help to develop a strong connection for years to come.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. I'm looking forward to, we're going to close out now, but I'm looking forward to meeting you at convention, seeing your chapter. I definitely like to interact and meet with y'all, especially me being in the region too as well, in the professional chapter in DC, not Richmond, but in DC, but still I would love the interaction. And like I said, I go there to meet new people. So yeah, thanks for being on. Do you have any closing remarks? Any words of
I would say
encouragement, questions to prompt to the audience, and all that? So,
I would say definitely for the audience, thank you for watching. And for anyone that is looking into, because I do understand that this podcast definitely helps with inspiring leadership in high school and collegiate students and beyond. And I understand that the impact that it's had with leadership goes beyond your term. So if you can help in any way, believe in yourself, believe in others, and believe in the mission of NSBE.
awesome. Well, once again, Nick, no, Nicholas. Do you prefer Nick or Nicholas?
Oh,
Probably
Nick's
should have
okay.
asked that prior. Nick's okay. Okay, I probably should have asked that prior, but we're gonna put that in there. We're all human. So thank you for being on. I really appreciate it, especially doing this right before a convention. It'll be a good thing to look back on, later down the line. So I just want to say thank you, and yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting at convention. Like I said, your chapter, everybody you come across, we'll definitely, build and share any other wisdom we might not have shared today. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for that before I close out.
Absolutely. No problem. I'm very excited. I mean, this is an honor to be on your podcast. This is your platform, and to just allow me the opportunity to be on this platform, it's just been another one of the great experiences of 2025 thus far, and I know it's only getting started.
That's crazy. We're only about 2 months, we're on month three now, 2025. So I'm glad to be a part of your favorite moments so far. I'm glad. I'm grateful for it. But anyway, we're gonna close this out before we get to yapping even more. We'll talk more next week, like I said. Anyway, if you enjoyed, to the viewer watching, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and share with a friend. And stay tuned for new episodes. Until next time, take it easy and stay motivated.
All right. Thank you, everyone.